What's good, YouTube? Today, we're gonna go over something very, very special. Something we only go over once a year, at the end of the year. Today, we're going over scratch that. This is the official NBA awards. And if you disagree with my opinion, just know that my opinion's right. And let's get right into it. Starting off, the MVP of the league. Now, I really don't think this is really all that close as people make it out to be. I think it's going to be an absolute robbery when it does take place. But, bro, it's Nikola Jokic. It's Nikola Jokic, bro. I don't care. This guy, 1 year ago, if you were to ask me 1 year ago, what's your opinions on Nikola Jokic? I would think blob. Absolute freak of a machine on offense. What? Pause. But this guy, I would consider him to be slightly overrated in that he was kind of getting the benefit of the analytics and all that. And, like, based off the eye test, he was hooping, but I don't know if it was, like, at the level that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka Doncic were on last year. But, bro, this year, this guy's blowing me out of the water. This guy's averaging a fucking triple-double. A triple-double. The last time we saw this, they glazed Russell Westbrook on a 6 seed to win the MVP of the year. They robbed James Harden and they gave Russell Westbrook the MVP that year. But nah. This season, it completely changed. The narrative changed. Look, let me tell you something, right? I really like Shai. I like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm a big fan of him, and honestly, I consider him to be one of the best guards, honestly, like, that I've ever seen play. The way he moves is elusive. He's fluid. He's so shifty. That's a foreshadowing. The way he's so shifty and he like the way he creates shots, it's at an MVP caliber level. The only drawback I really have of him is, bro, look, you take away Jokic from the Denver Nuggets, these guys are literally the Portland Trailblazers. You can't tell me that a team of Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and Aaron Gordon are making the playoffs in the stacked Western Conference where the freaking Warriors are in the play-in. The Grizzlies, who were just the second seed a few years ago, are in the play-in tournament. You can't convince me that those guys would even make the play-in. Honestly, I put them at the same caliber of maybe the Sacramento Kings at the highest. But, bro, you take Shai off of the Oklahoma City Thunder, what you're going to get is a decent team. You're going to get them around like the 7 spot, maybe the 6 spot. Honestly, I could even see them being maybe a little bit worse than the Clippers, so I give them the 6 spot. Maybe, if you want to be a little more lenient, bias towards Shai, glaze them a little bit, the lowest you can possibly go is the 8th. They're not any worse than the Kings, and you can't they're not worse than the Kings. There's zero fucking chance. You're still gonna have J-Dub on the team. You're gonna have Isaiah Hartenstein, not to mention Chet, lanky boy Holmgren. That team is still gonna be sufficient enough to be able to compete in the Western Conference and be able to make their way into the playoffs potentially. That's not the case with the Nuggets. This guy, his coach literally got fired a few days ago. What does that tell you about the team? That tells you that team is in the absolute worst of the worst position that it could possibly be in, that their locker room is most likely broken because, bro, that Coach Malone fire was an absolute shocker. It didn't make sense. So that only goes to tell you what the position of the Denver Nuggets is at this current moment. You had Jamal Murray, who literally sucked balls in the beginning of the year, and then he started turning his way around and being cool. You got freaking Michael Porter Jr. talking about Epstein's Island. I got a podcast talking about Epstein's Island. These guys are not serious. This is not a, other than Jokic, this is not a playoff caliber team. Yes, Aaron Gordon has been balling. Yes, you have Christian Braun, who's been killing it. But this team without Jokic is a bottom team. Now, I will say, yes, with the Oklahoma City Thunder, they are at a point where they are, what are they at, 68 wins. They're a historically good team. They're one of the best teams of all time. You look at the numbers, you look at their net rating, their offensive and defensive numbers, they're one of the best teams of all time. That's not a debate. Shai has elevated them to that level, and I understand if you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as an MVP, but in my personal opinion, it deserves to go to Nikola Jokic more than it has in any year of his career. And I think the sole reason why it won't go to him, this guy's literally averaging a triple-double. Russell Westbrook does that, and you guys freaking glaze him and rob him of the MVP. I love Russ, okay? I love Russ. James Harden deserved that year. I'm a Rockets fan, look. Whatever. Anyways, I think Jokic deserves it more than he's ever deserved it in his entire career. This guy's dropping freaking 60-point triple-double bombs. Their head-to-heads have been pretty much on the same caliber, on the same level. They both have dropped, I think 40 on each other's necks when they're playing each other. But me personally, if I have to choose an MVP, I am going to give it to Nikola Jokic. All right, boys. Up next, we got the DPOY. Now, I'll tell you who it's not. It ain't Draymond Green. I don't know how this guy gaslit the entire NBA. Not even the fans. The fans, they know better. But the odds makers, this guy was literally sitting at, what was it, plus 3,500, literally about 2-3 weeks ago to win Defensive Player of the Year. At the current moment, this guy, I think the last time I checked, he was the most favored to win. And at this point, he might still be the first, maybe second. He was sitting at minus 150 at one point, which is ridiculous. How did Draymond Green literally gaslit his way on a podcast to making himself the favored individual to win DPOY? No, I'm not sitting with that. Look, Draymond Green, he's been a great player, but Defensive Player of the Year, if you're looking at it all year round, Draymond Green was good towards the later half of the year, beginning half, not so much. If we're looking at it from a season-long award, I think deservedly it has to go to Evan Mobley. The Cavs have been able to just become this behemoth of a team, and a lot of that centers around the defense, and the center point of the defense is Evan Mobley. So I think that we really just have to give it to him. I was stuck between him and Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson is my guy. I do think Amen Thompson is going to be able to get it over the next coming years. I see him finishing his career between maybe a few DPOYs. Hopefully he's going to get the MVP too. I'm very high on my boy Amen Thompson. I'm a Rockets fan. You already know how it goes. But, so yeah, Defensive Player of the Year, I got it to Evan Mobley. Up next, we got the Rookie of the Year. Does anybody really actually care about this? Okay, I get it. If you're a San Antonio, look, spoiler alert, Stephon Castle got it, but truly this is I don't mean to be rude, but bro, this draft class was just full of bums. Bro, I've never seen a number one pick get talked about less in Zachary Ricochet. I asked some of my boys who, they're more casual fans, they watch the games, they check the box scores. They have no idea who that guy is. Alex Sarr is a guy that really has never even really crossed their minds. You put a guy even someone like Jabari Smith Jr., and he was probably going to finish top 3. This guy, he didn't have a ridiculous rookie season the year he came in. But this guy would probably finish top 3, maybe even 2. He might even win it. I'm going to give it to Stephon Castle, but, it really wasn't a crazy draft class, and I don't even think it's a very too impressive award this time around. It's more like a Mickey Mouse award, if you want to call it something like that. I'm going to give it to Stephon Castle. He's been hooping. He's super athletic. He actually did great in the dunk contest. I know that has no correlation to the actual award itself. But, he's been fun on the San Antonio Spurs. His efficiency isn't so good ever since Wemby went down. But that's because he's taking shots at a higher rate. I do expect him to be a great player and develop over time. But, just based off of, the rookie seasons alone, nobody really stood out amongst the rest. There wasn't no LaMelo Ball this draft class. There wasn't no Zion Williams and John Morant. It was really just a bunch of role players. This really was a class of role players. This is the worst year the Rockets could have gotten the 3rd overall pick. But, solid rookie season for Stephon Castle. He's the Rookie of the Year. Now we're going to discuss the 6th Man of the Year. This award was one of the more ones that, I was stuck between 2 players. I had it going to one the most of the year, really. But I switched it right around the end. My 6th Man of the Year is Malik Beasley. And I really didn't expect that coming into the season. This guy came in on really a bare bones contract. This guy isn't getting paid shit. But when you look at his production and what he's done for the Detroit Pistons, He has the second most threes in the league. This guy has become Steph Curry all of a sudden. This guy was a big reason why the Pistons were able to shift their entire season to be able to make the playoffs, make that 6th seed. So I'm going to have to give it to Malik Beasley just based off of impact alone. The other guy I was concerned was Peyton Pritchard. I had him as it like most of the year. But when we go based off of impact alone, I think the Boston Celtics would have been just fine if they had not had Peyton Pritchard on their team. They would have still been a top 3 team in the East. So that's really the big reason, just based off of impact alone. Peyton Pritchard's been hooping off the bench. This guy's putting up like crazy numbers for a 6-man, really. Like, he's just coming off torching teams on offense. But just off of impact alone, I got to give it to Malik Beasley. Now we're going to discuss the MIP. And a lot of people seem to be not agreeing with me on this one. There seems to be... I know who's going to probably win. It's going to be Dyson Daniels. Who? Bro, we are not watching the Atlanta Hawks. Nobody is out here. Nah. No. In all seriousness, Dyson Daniels, he's been hooping. He's really elevated his game to another level, especially defensively. Like, you know, he's been hooping. You know, you can't hate on it, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to, if it's I don't even know. Zubac. I'm going to give it to Zubac. And the big reason why is because when Kawhi Leonard was out at the beginning of the year, a lot of those guys, James Harden, you had Norman Powell, and Zubac, had to elevate their game to another level. And James Harden, he has a lot to do with Zubac winning this award. James Harden is really a center riser. You see a guy like Clint Capella. When they played together, he made Clint Capella look like an all-star. And he's really doing the same with Zubac, but not only is Zubac doing it on the offensive end of the field, but the defensive end of the field is also, like, his defense has improved to a ridiculous level. This guy is like one of the best drop coverage defenders in the league, and I wouldn't be surprised if some people had him as like his runner-up for a Depoy. He really is in the conversation of that, and the Clippers winning the 5th seed has a big part to do in it as well. I really think that Zubac is the MIP. I know a lot of people give it to Dyson Daniels, which I can't hate on. I really see why people would, because just based off of rising alone, I think he's risen the most. But given the circumstances and given the Clippers season with Kawhi going down and them still remaining as a 5th seed, I got to give it to Ivica Zubac. That's my MIP. Up next, we got the most Mickey Mouse award of these award ceremonies. We got the Clutch Player of the Year. And, I mean, do we really care? Steph Curry won it last year, but I'm pretty sure he did. But nobody's really going to have that add to his resume or anything. It's not really necessarily a real award. It's just something else that they added over time. And I don't know if I'm really rocking with it. But regardless, it's got to go to Jalen Brunson in the clutch. This guy's averaging around 4.2 points, which might not shoot out the window or anything like that. But when it comes down to it, if you ever watch a Knicks game and you sit back, he is the centerpiece of the offense, and he's always scoring. He's never afraid of the moment. So it is really a Mickey Mouse award, but regardless, Jalen Brunson is the winner of this one. Solid. I don't know how I feel about it just yet, but first few years, But yeah, it is going to go to Jalen Brunson. Next up, we got Coach of the Year. And, I might catch a little bit of flag for this one. My bias may be pointing me towards this direction. But, bro, I don't care. This is my awards. And if you disagree once again, you're wrong. It's Ime Udoka. I don't know if this is wrong to say, but I have never been more happy about a cheating scandal happening. Look, I'm just so glad that this guy is my team's coach and not another team's. But what he's done with the Houston Rockets ever since he's come into this team is he's completely shifted the culture. You saw what that guy, Steven Silas, how he was getting treated. This guy's was literally having Jalen Green and Josh Christopher pause. They were really laughing at him on the bench while this guy was trying to draw plays. He had it worse than Darvin Ham. Salute. This guy, Ime Udoka, has come in, completely shifted the culture, made us have such a big defensive identity, and that's the big reason why the Rockets are the 2nd seed. I think without Ime, we wouldn't be in the position where we are right now. I got to give it to Ime Udoka. I know last season he had 40 wins, so I guess if he had the 50-win season last year, he definitively would have won. I don't think it's going to go to him, though. I think a lot of people are going to give Kenny Atkinson the benefit of the doubt. The Cavs did get 64 wins, which they're an all-time great team as well. So I'm not mad at it if you have Kenny Atkinson winning. But me personally, I'm going to have to give it to Ime Udoka. The Cavs, I'm not mad at it. They're absolutely phenomenal, and their coach is so well disciplined. They're really an all-around great team, as the wins show, and I can't wait to see them and Boston battle it out in the playoffs. That's probably the playoff series like I'm dreaming about the most. So, yeah, I'm going to give it to Ime Udoka as my coach of the year. All right, last one. The last award, last but certainly not least, this guy completely manipulated and tore down a fan base. Honestly, you can't even hate this guy if you're the fan base of the team opposing to what happened in the situation. You can't even hate him. It's going to Rob Pelinka. It's going to Rob Pelinka. I don't know how this guy pulled this off, but this was an absolute robbery in broad daylight. Rob Pelinka pulling off that Luka Doncic trade. We all know where we were when that happened. You know where you were when you found out that Luka Doncic was getting traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. I have no idea how he pulled it off. No clue in the world. But you got to give Rob Pelinka his due respect. Over the past few seasons, this guy's been getting torched by Lakers fans for not being able to make the right moves. And honestly, he just threw all those conversations down the gutter. Rob Pelinka was able to... I'm still baffled by it. It doesn't make sense how he was able to convince... Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's the executive of the year. Nico Harrison, oh my gosh. It's bad. It's real bad. I feel for you if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan. Like, if you want to bandwagon to another team, I can't even blame you. Rob Pelinka is the executive of the year. Simply off that Luka Doncic trade alone. Can't wait to see what they do in the playoffs. And that's a wrap for the video. I might bring out a separate video where I discuss my All-NBA teams. I know that's supposed to be a part of like this whole award process, but I don't want this video pushing like 30 minutes. So, you know, I'm new to this, bro. I'm new to this. You know, if y'all like this, if y'all enjoyed it, you know, feel free to drop in a subscribe, liking the video. It'll show me on whether I should really keep going at this. But yeah, nonetheless, if you're tuning in, I appreciate each and every single one of you. And until next time.